What's going on, everybody? So I want to talk about what Scott Strickland said or came out with a statement yesterday talking about Billy Napier. Scott Strickland, if you haven't read the statement, it's on X or Twitter or whatever it's called now, pretty much came out and said that Billy Napier is going to continue being the Florida Gator head coach. Now, he was kind of vague with that. It doesn't say that Billy Napier is going to be the head coach next year, but a lot of people took it like that because you hear a lot of people and a lot of boosters or a lot of fans talking about why Billy Napier is still the head coach of Florida whenever he's got a 15-18 record, and I agree. Listen, was I happy that Billy Napier got hired as the head coach? I wasn't. I didn't like the hire, but I was like, okay, we'll give the guy a chance. And third year, they're 4-4. He's had 2 straight losing seasons, and it looks like there's a possible third, and it'll actually be 4 in a row for Florida. The narrative that a lot of fans like to use, especially the first couple years with Billy Napier, was, well, Dan Mullen put him in a bad situation. Apparently, Florida is the only school that gets put in bad situations when they fire a head coach. Newsflash, every team that has to fire a coach is put in a bad situation because you're going to have a turnover. You're going to have players leave because they didn't commit to the coach that's incoming. So every team that has to fire a coach is put in that same situation. Okay, Florida's not the only school out of 130-something teams that every time when they, fire a coach, they're always put in the worst situation possible. Okay, it's a tired narrative. I'm tired of hearing that. So Billy Napier it just has not lived up to what I think Scott Strickland hoped. Okay, Scott Strickland has to back Billy Napier at this point, in my opinion. Billy Napier hired and fired Dan Mullen. He has hired Billy Napier, and if he has to fire Billy Napier, that'll be his second head coach that he has failed on. And Scott Strickland's been a terrible AD anyways. But Billy Napier he was put in a spot that he was not ready for. And, he is hard-headed when it comes to offensive play calling. We've been saying it for the longest time. Everybody kept saying, well, it's not the play calling that's the problem. And then I think people started to realize, okay, play calling really is the problem. I don't like my head coach, especially college NFL, calling offensive plays. I've never been a fan of it because it takes your focus away from everything else going on. Now, I don't know what the statistics are, but, Lane Kiffin, I know a lot of people were talking about him coming over to Florida. He calls offensive plays. Well, if you look at Lane Kiffin and his teams, they play well to start, and then all of a sudden it seems like they fall off. Their defense is usually lacking. I think their defense is pretty decent this year, but Ole Miss has lost to Kentucky. I can't remember their other loss, but they have games where it's just like, what's going on? Well, whenever you're focused on one side of the ball, it takes your focus away from everything. That's why everybody wants Billy Napier. Just hire an OC, experienced OC. Don't get some 30-year-old guy like you did on the defensive side, like Austin Armstrong. Don't get some 30-year-old dude who thinks he knows everything, and then your defense is like ranked 130th in the country. So get some experience in your coaching staff. So, and Billy Napier really hasn't done the greatest job of hiring staff. We all know this. He hasn't had a great track record of that. But Billy Napier is getting another lifeline. And we all know DJ Lagway is giving him that lifeline. If DJ Lagway was to leave or say he was transferred, Billy Napier's gone. But they're wanting to see, because of the injury to Lagway, I think they're wanting to see what Billy Napier has to offer and what can he do in his 4th year. Because if you look back, Florida has had problems hiring a coach. Okay, you get McElwain, Dan Mullen, then you got Billy Napier, Will Muschamp. You got these guys, you hire them and fire them within like 3 years. Well, I know everybody keeps talking about, everybody keeps saying, well, you can't keep hiring them and firing them. Well, how about you hire a good one, a good coach? You wouldn't have that problem. You wouldn't have to fire them. So, and whenever Billy Napier came in, there was a lot of good coaches. How about a coach that whooped his tail the first game of the year, Mario Cristobal? He's got his team, they're number 3 ranked in the country right now? Yes, I know it's the ACC. Everybody's going to say, it's the ACC. Well, it's not that bad. Well, he beat the mess out of Florida. It wasn't even a game. And, it's just, I just don't know what Billy Napier can do going down the road that has my confidence in saying that Florida can contend for a national championship or can contend for an SEC championship. Because at this point, Florida hasn't been able to contend at all in the past at least 4 years. So, I mean, they're just an afterthought. Nobody cares about them. It's like everybody keeps talking about Florida being the next Nebraska and stuff like this. And that's kind of where it's going to because of all the failed head coaches that they have hired. It's leading to that. I mean, any other coach with having a 15-18 record at a predominant college would be fired. But Scott Strickland knows that he cannot do that because it would look bad and he would eventually be fired, which he should be anyways. And that's just my opinion. And I think a lot of people are actually echoing that as well. But listen, I'm just, at the end of the day, I'm a Florida fan. If you're a Florida fan, you will agree with this 100%. You just want to see Florida win, okay? That's it. I'm not rooting against Billy Napier. Did I like the hire? No. Do I like that he's still being the guy? No, I don't think he's that guy to take Florida to a championship. But am I going to root for him to fail? No, I'm not, because I want Florida to win. Okay, the team does seem like they do like Billy Napier. And, I think Ron Zook, though, his players liked him, So, but the players do like him. But at the end of the day, it's about wins and losses. What are you doing for your team to win? And Billy Napier hasn't quite figured that out. Okay, you're getting close in these games. So you're a close loss to Tennessee, a close loss to Georgia. I'm hearing that, a lot of fans talk about that. So Florida has fallen so bad that you're happy for a close loss. Think about that. Like, that's where Florida's at now. Florida, if you didn't win big at Florida, it was, whoa, hey, what's going on now? But we're happy with close losses to rivals. So, and that's where Florida's at right now. It's like, hey, we're 4-4. Nice, man. There you go. Great. When has it been nice for Florida to be 4-4 with eight games in? It never has. So, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, until Scott Strickland is fired, until somebody, cans him, you really won't see nothing at the head coaching position being done. And if that doesn't happen, if Scott Strickland continues as the AD, Billy Napier, I don't care what these next 4 games, they can go 1-3 and beat Florida State. Billy Napier will be the head coach next year. But if it does not start out well, because Florida's schedule is going to be bad again next year, if it doesn't go out well to start the gate, and especially with DJ Lagway, I think Billy Napier will be fired very quickly next year. So, but y'all let me know in the comments. Are you okay with giving Billy Napier another year with what you've seen over the past couple weeks? Because the team has played well. I'm not saying, defense. The defense is playing fast. They're playing physical, So I'm wanting to see about this Texas game. I know they're talking about DJ Lagway playing. I just don't see that with the hamstring injury, especially going at Texas. But, I could be wrong. But see how the team responds. We'll see how they play against Texas. You got LSU, Ole Miss, and then Florida State. I don't care who's that quarterback against Florida State. Florida shouldn't lose to them at all. But y'all let me know in the comments what you think. I know Florida's played well in the past couple weeks, and maybe that's what's kind of giving Scott Strickland maybe a look and saying, hey, this team is responding well to Billy Napier. The wins are not there. Maybe they'll come. And I think that's what they're hoping for is, hey, this team is gelling together. Maybe it'll come together. And then next year, because this team is young, there's a lot of freshmen and sophomore on the Florida Gators. So maybe, and then they hit the transfer portal. I think that might be another thing because Florida right now is ranked like 51st in recruiting. I don't see that continuing. Was it a month left in recruiting? I think it does get back in. I'm not going to say like in the 15s, maybe the mid-20s. I think Florida does get up in recruiting, and probably if you add the transfer portal, it'll look a lot better. So I just don't see a team like Florida with the money they got and the the predominance of Florida. I think they'll bring in recruits. They'll flip some. I know one's already projected to flip from Florida State right now, 4-star, I think Trammell, the quarterback who's committed to Florida State right now. So, Florida Gators recruiting will get better, but y'all let me know in the comments. What do you think? Billy Napier should get another year? Do you think they should go ahead and can him? But at the end of the day, I think this is where I do struggle with. And I know a lot of people calling for Lane Kiffin. What coach would you get? That I'm struggling with because it's like, what is there out there that is going to be a big upgrade over Billy Napier? There may be a little bit of an upgrade, but what big upgrade? It's hard for me to find it right now, but y'all let me know in the comments. But as always, guys, I appreciate y'all watching this channel. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great one.